So, earlier today, the 29th of May, Zully the Witch released a wonderful video about Godwyn's corpse. In the comment, I made a short post that basically restated a comment I'd seen on a video by Rage Gaming Videos, and a bit of info from the video itself, which I'd seen yesterday but was uploaded May 24th. The comment I made stated that the crabs in the moat above where Godwyn's corpse can be found have his face on their back, and the larger crab in that area has several, and its water spit attack inflicts Death Blight. It's possible that Godwyn was infecting them. A comment on RGV's video states that in Raya Lucaria's garden, there's a large crab that can inflict sleep. In the corner of the garden, you can find a St. Trina's lily. The commenter believed that crabs gain the essence of what they're eating. That's why above Godwyn, they gain Death Blight, because he's likely infected the plants there. I also added evidence, citing the several smaller crabs hidden throughout the secret bits of the area that have glintstone crystals growing from their back. I then, at the end, went on to add that Godwyn's corpse has therefore infected the ground with Death Blight, so Lane-Dell and maybe more is sitting on top of a field of Death's thorns. This comment sort of popped off, considering it's been gaining likes and replies nonstop. One of said replies is this comment, which states that Stormveil is also afflicted in the same way Lane-Dell could be. It's clearly overrun with some sort of affliction, but nobody's sure what it is, and it may be something even more sinister than Godric's grafting. It's clear after you discover Godwyn's body that it's death that's affecting the castle. It's therefore confirmed to be able to afflict the land itself, and I'm likely correct that Lane-Dell is destined to fall to death. Someone took some sort of issue with this comment. Lord Helmchen stated that Stormveil's thorns are likely because of Godric, so he thought. Abducting people and grafting them is such a foul act that it sprouted thorns of sin throughout Stormveil, though it could also be Godwyn's corpse. He then went on to state something very interesting, and I think you should thank this paragraph if you like my video on the theory here. It's stated in Zully the Witch's comment pinned to her video, which is where I made the comment that this thread sprouted from, that stagnant water is often said to bear curses. The information from this comment, combined with the fact that crabs are found in found in stagnant water, as well as tibia mariners being found in stagnant water, leads some to believe that stagnant water and undeath are tied. One such person is Lord Helmchen, and in this paragraph he states that the theme is lightly touched upon, and is prime candidate for DLC material, given its base and room to be developed. I gave a reply to Lord Helmchen, stating that the marred leather shield used by some of Godric's men states that it's a common belief that the thorns are caused by grafting, yet it may be something more sinister hidden deep within the castle. But my comment was going to go on much longer. Much longer. I cut the rest off so this one could be reasonable. It was so long. It was so long that I made a Google Doc to write it in so I could see the sheer scope of my comment. I began piecing things together, and slowly today's theory developed. Yeah, I told you it was big. Listen, I hate editing, which is why this video is a Google slide presentation that I'm covering with screenshots. I also hate scripting, so I'm essentially going to read this comment to you with some pictures to go with it. I'm going to talk about some other puzzle pieces I've thought about at the end that I haven't managed to figure out how to add them into my theory here. I think that death is actually a huge theme in Elden Ring, considering that it's changed hands so many times, as well as it kind of being the cause of the shattering, or rather, the tool used to start a chain reaction which ended in the shattering. Though I do agree with the stagnant water bit being lightly touched, it seems to me there are two forms of death. Death Blight, Godwyn's death, and Maliketh's death. I was gonna call it Destined Death, but I feel like the whole, that's, I'm sorry. I'm bad at words, okay? But I feel like that's more the whole of the two combined. I haven't come up with a name for this one outside of Maliketh's Death yet. And we should make the distinction, though they are most definitely bits of the same whole. Maybe a third to do with the Deathbirds, but they're kinda their own field, and maybe even a fourth to do with Godskins, but I think theirs is just a nerfed version of Maliketh's Death, being the same flame, but with the death removed from it. Blight doesn't nerf your HP bar, nor is it flame related. It seems that Blight, which is what I'll be calling Godwyn's version from now on, and Death will be the whole Maliketh's Death is black-red flame, all that. The less touched on and likely more important version is related to water and plants. Ignore the fact that I accidentally went to the slide, okay? This is a very unprofessional video. I'm recording this at like 10:32 p.m. Which is related to water and plants. This is what the crabs use. It's the version Fortisax uses, and it's the version that kills you with thorns. I say it's more important because even the corpses of the giants on the mountaintops are covered in thorns of death, as well as the death root being a thing. In fact, I'd like to posit that each type is related to the death of the soul and the death of the body, respectively. Considering that the Black Knives use Maliketh's death, and they served Ranni, whose body was killed, and like I said, it lowers your max HP and even damages you. And Blight pops up around Godwyn, whose soul died, and in the catacombs in the form of Deathroot. And it seems that those who live in death are merely bodies without souls. Just look at the dudes wandering around the plains of Limgrave. Blight is all sorts of everywhere and causing problems. Another point I'd like to bring up is that the Erd Tree only kinda burns when you've done the Forge but not Farum Azula. It actually burns fully after you unshackle Maliketh's death. I think that death being free and in the Erd Tree is a requirement for it to burn. The death root already shows that Blight is in the Erd Tree, but Maliketh keeps the rest of death from it so it can't fully burn. Or, wait, hold on, wrong one. Or, maybe, the reason that the top burns a bit and not the rest of the tree is because the soul of the Erd Tree is dying there, and the top is closest to both where the Greater Will, which probably lives in the sky, let's be real, and the stars, where the Elden Beast came from, which makes me think that that's probably where the soul of the Erd Tree would be. The trunk is fine until you unleash Maliketh's death, the death of the body. The body, the trunk of the tree then burns. I'm sorry for going on the massive rant, I just got super nerdy for a second. If anybody else has anything to add, tell me. I might as well use the script for a video soon, and maybe I'm gonna be a lore channel. I'd love to hear feedback, anything to add proof, extrapolate further, or even something that disproves my theory. I want it all. That's the end of my comment, and it holds true. Anyone here in the comments with more evidence for or against my theory should say it. I want feedback. Maybe soon I'll make a video discussing anything new we find here from our efforts in the comments here, or in the replies of in the reply section of my comment on Zully's video. Bonus time! So, like I said a little while back, I have a bit of extra stuff I want to know about if anyone knows or can think of an answer to related to death. The first one is the Basilisks. I don't know why they have Blight. I think it's likely that they've been infected by Blight, but the crabs from earlier have pustules and whatever. They aren't just chilling with it. Their fake eyes are also peculiar, as they seem a little familiar to anyone who's seen Godwyn up close. And by the way, if you didn't know, these are actually fake eyes. Right there next to the mouth, really close to the corners of the mouth, are where its actual eyes are. They're super tiny. They're little yellow little dots. It's really cute whenever you notice them. These eyes here are very similar, and they're right by his corpse. That's his hand over there on the right side. I guess the eyes are related to Blight somehow, but I don't know why they're here like this. Why do the Basilisks have things that only show up in one other place I know of, being Godwyn's corpse? Another thing I want to know about is the death birds. More specifically, what in the world their connection to death is. I think they guide you to the afterlife, but I don't know much about them. I don't even remember where exactly I heard that. What I do know is they've got ghost flame. The only other place I can think of there being ghost flame is in Nokron. There are berserk references down here walking around with ghost flame torches that are supposedly burning the bodies of their fallen comrades, and their arrows are alight with it. Though the arrows are named Spirit Flame arrows and not Ghost Flame. This stuff is confusing to me because supposedly Ghost Flame once burned death. Not death, capital D, just death. Regular death, I think. It's real confusing, and if anyone has more info on the death birds, I think that they're I think that if they're connected to capital D, death, then they're totally the next step in this theory's evolution. That's all I've got for now, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this hopefully short video about Death versus Death Blight versus Maliketh's version and whatever. If we can come up with more things to add that are substantial, I'll make another video on this topic, but don't expect me to make too many more Elden Ring lore videos. I upload what I want, when I want, and with just enough quality to exist. So, yeah. See ya. Oh, 12 minutes? That's longer than I expected. Huh. Good job, me.